So in today's episode, we'll be talking about the arguments for the existence of God.
Yes.
Now, there's many arguments out there, especially the philosophical arguments for the existence of God. So I want to know from you, what is the Quranic perspective on the existence of God?
Okay, Bismillah. So here's the thing. Like you said, there's loads of arguments out there, but I think that the best arguments are found in the Quran itself. For example, in chapter 52, verse 35 and 36, we're led to an amazing argument, because Allah says in those two verses, He says, were they created by nothing? Or were they the creators of themselves? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Right? Now, if we look at this verse and we study it, what we see, there's some logical implications that can be drawn, some questions that we can ask. For example, the first thing is, were they created by nothing? So can something come from nothing? Or were they the creators of themselves?
Yes.
Can something create itself?
Right.
Another option is, or did they create the heavens and the earth? Meaning something creating something. Right? So these are some possibilities, and the amazing thing is the Mufassir and the scholars have said that you can apply this logical deduction to anything that begins to exist. Right? So let's briefly do this, right, to the universe itself, because the universe, as we know, began to exist. We can substantiate this through empirical and philosophical reasoning, basically. For example, if we look at some of the empirical evidence, you've got the second law of thermodynamics, which states that any closed system will be in a state of chaos over time, left over time, basically, right? For example, and if they say, like Bertrand Russell said, that the universe just is, it's been there forever, right? If you claim such a thing, you've got to realize that according to the second law of thermodynamics, the universe would have already suffered a heat death, basically, if the case was that the universe is infinite in the past. But obviously it isn't. The redshift observed by Edwin Hubble, another reason. There's several reasons, right? So we can safely say that the universe had a beginning, right? So let's move on. So let's apply this logical deduction to the universe itself. Can the universe come from nothing?
No. I mean, humans have never experienced anything come into existence from nothing.
Exactly, right?
And if we define nothing, just to make sure, to make it clear, what is nothing?
Nothing is universal negation. Absolutely nothing.
The
Nothing at
absence
all.
of something.
It's not energy, it's nothing, right? So we have to make, you're right, we have to make this clear. When we say nothing, we mean absolutely nothing. So let's second option. What is the second option? The second option is, or were they the creators themselves? So
Yes.
what we take from this is something creating itself. Now this isn't only illogical, it's a self-contradiction. Because how can something create itself? Think about this. Because to create yourself,
Yes.
you have to exist and not exist at the same time. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yes.
Yeah. It's a logical contradiction, right?
Exactly.
Because to create yourself, you have to exist to create yourself. And if you exist to create yourself, you're not creating yourself because you already exist. So it doesn't make sense. It's crazy. You'll go nuts if you think about it, right? So the point is that something creating itself does not work. So you can take that possibility away.
Yes.
The third possibility is something creating the universe.
Right.
Okay. Now this can work. We can say something created the universe, but it opens a can of worms, because then we can say, well, what created that something that created the universe? And then we can say, what created that something that created that something that created the universe? And we go on forever. And if we went on forever, we will run into the problem, or what is called the problem of the infinite regress. We wouldn't have the universe in the first place. The event would not take place if you had an infinite chain of causes. Right?
Can you give us an example?
Simple example being, say, I want to get on the bus.
Yes.
For me to get on the bus, I have to borrow £1 of you.
Right.
And you say, I'll give you £1, but I need to borrow £1 of the person behind me. And the person behind you says, I will give you £1 if the person behind me gives me £1. And if this went on forever, for an infinite time, or an infinite series, a chain of people,
Yes.
would I ever get on the bus?
No.
Would that event take place?
You'd never get the £1.
Exactly. So in the same way, if the causes of the universe went on forever, the chain of causes, then we would not have the universe in the first place.
Yes.
But we're here today and we're in the universe which came into existence, therefore the universe must have a cause, or the first cause, which is uncaused.
Right.
And this is the final option. The most logical, rational option is to claim that the universe was created by an uncaused creator. And this is exactly what Islam tells us, and the Quran tells us, that the creator, he's uncreated, he's one, he's all powerful, he hasn't got partners, and he's eternal.
Right.
He's eternal. He's not like his creation, and he's absolute.
So if we look again at the argument that you just stated, the existence of the universe, the fact that we exist, there are only 4 possibilities. So
Yes.
Can you run through the 4
Four
possibilities?
logical possibilities. 1,
Yes.
coming from nothing.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Yep.
2, self-creation. Doesn't work. 3, something creating the universe. Can work, but leads to many problems.
Yes.
Right? Doesn't work, really, if we
Yes.
break it down. The only possibility is that the universe was created by an uncreated creator. or uncreated cause, to use a different term.
And that uncreated cause
Is Allah.
is Allah.
And this is exactly the conclusion we come to when we use our reason and our intellects.